Welcome to the Small Business Podcast Breakthrough Series, where every week we're interviewing guests that support the small business industry. You know those commercials that you've seen where there's that teenager standing in front of the Lamborghini and they're just trying to sell you something and you know it's a scam? You can just smell it because there's no way that guy can literally own a Lamborghini. Well, guess what? Our guest today started his business to solve the problem against those guys. Right? Financial training can be at your fingertips. And we're going to learn more about that today from Sebastian Oz, founder and CEO of Stocks Uni. Welcome to the show, Sebastian.
Hey, it's great to be here. And that's a great intro. You're absolutely right. It is a huge problem in the industry. And it's the kind of thing that I'm here to fix.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration. Why did you decide that that was such a big problem and you wanted to solve for it?
Well, because I myself had to deal with that when I was on my initial climb. I started my first business at 16, but I actually started trading and investing and learning about finance since the age of 14. And I had to deal with those kind of issues all around. When I finally kind of cracked the code and found my financial independence at the age of 20, I looked around and I saw the amount of people that weren't able to find those same solutions because the industry of finance it sucks. In today's world, it is absolutely awful. Everyone on there is either looking to overcharge, gatekeep, or even straight up scam. And it makes it really difficult for the average man and woman, working man and woman, to find these breakthroughs in their life and in their finances, including my parents. And that's the kind of thing that moved me to want to be the solution.
Yeah, what the idea of diving in and learning about stocks can be overwhelming and consuming for a lot of people. How does your program break that down into simplicity so that the average American can be able to invest and have confidence in what they're going to do, because it's scary and
Right.
I mean, just like I guess even I would say unlike gambling, it's one of those things that is like, oh wait, that all happened and I thought I was on the right path.
Right, right. In some ways, it can be even scarier than that. And you're absolutely right. That's a really good question because the market is one of those things that it looks so much scarier than it actually is. Now, my program, it breaks things down in a way that's not only really easy to understand, but I'm always there personally, one-on-one with everyone that I'm teaching, in a way that's like, hey, if you don't get something, I can break it down even further for everyone. And it's to the point where I'm so confident with what I teach because I've seen the results in real time. I've seen people that are already retired that barely know how to use computers, people that don't even have access to their cell phones, some people that don't even have like devices like that, that do very well with this stuff. I have some clients and students of mine that are past the age of 70, and I have some that are under the age of even 20. And all together, unanimously, they do very well with their investments.
Awesome. You've been building this business, and we talk to business owners out there and some of the struggles as you go to try to scale a business and grow, serving customers. You're helping lots of people. Talk to us a little bit about how you manage the day to day and some of the tricks and tools that you might use to make sure that your customers receive the best version of Sebastian.
That's a really good question. So it definitely is a challenge, especially for service-based industries where the quality of the product essentially depends on how accessible you are, right? So you would imagine that it'd be difficult to work with 1,000 clients at a time from my end and give them all personal attention. But the way that I organize it with these big group calls where I give everyone the opportunity to chime in, ask questions, even all of my clients have my direct personal phone number, and I do that on purpose. A lot of business owners don't like to do that, but I do because I feel the need to give them the access to me directly if they're having troubles with something. The last thing that I want is for someone to end up making a mistake on their investments simply because of a lack of knowledge or a lack of support from someone that knows what they're doing. So I work with everyone on a very personal level to make sure that that's always the case, that they can always say that. And I dedicate most of my day to them.
Awesome. I can tell you have a lot of passion in this industry, especially for what you're doing and how you're helping people. What is a recent customer story or success that you've had that is a reminder? It gives you that reminder of like, this is exactly why I wanted to do this business.
Man, Jason, you know what? I've been on a lot of podcasts and I love the question that you're asking. That those are really, really good, fulfilling questions, man. I usually get a lot of like, what are the challenges or whatever, but I like this. That's a really good
Thank you.
question. The Well, I guess I have 2 clients that I love. I absolutely love seeing them succeed. I would say maybe 3, but I'll keep it short. There's this one lady who's been with me almost since the beginning of my business, who is already retired. She has cancer and she's, always battling and moving forward. And it's so awesome to see someone that the world and all the gurus of finance and stuff already disqualified people like her. They don't even consider those kinds of people as people that could make it in the world of investing or finance or success. And seeing someone that was maybe unlikely to succeed get through that, learn everything and master it and see consistent success is so fulfilling. And then I have another guy, much younger, he's in his 30s. Uh, I loved working with him too. I taught him on a very, very personal level because he was having a kid. And the kid was born and he's still fighting and he's doing so well with his investments that it's able to fund for that, even though obviously going from not having a kid to having a kid is a huge change in finances, right? And it felt very fulfilling to help him out because I felt like I was playing a part into what he could now do for his child.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like that to be able to pour into other people and have that success is truly what business is all about,
Yeah.
especially small business and why it becomes such the backbone of America. What
Yeah.
so you're in financial planning. And we know AI is all over the place. And I'm sure you don't go long without talking about it at some point. But where do you see AI and the using AI to be able to tailor or um, make things smoother or easier? Not cheat, right? That's not what I don't want to talk about that side of it because that's not what we're about. But how is AI benefiting the financial planning and financial investment industry? Because we've talked a lot on this podcast about copywriters and things where AI is used day to day, but we haven't talked a lot about how it's used in today's world of investments.
Well, for those that want the information, what's amazing about AI is like it's like a new revolution, right? As to where the internet's release and commercialization, it allowed everyone to get full access to whatever information that they wanted to those who did want it. Before you had to go to college or to study or to really know people that knew what they were talking about. Now you can just go online. AI is one step further because it's a good teacher. It's a good way of knowing things that you otherwise wouldn't know. But I actually only see AI possibly replacing standard kind of financial planners because it can definitely do that for someone. But I don't really see AI making too many moves in the world of investing. There's been a lot of trial and error with AI already. And the most that AI becomes is an indicator as to investing. And you can't depend on indicators when it comes to investing. Therefore, it's really important to still be able to learn about that and to master that information as an individual. AI is just maybe what's the word? I have an AI bot in my service. Like people can access that and use it to find opportunities. But even then, I tell people don't depend on that. Instead, cross-reference what the AI bot is saying with my analysis or with your own analysis to see if it works out. Because a lot of the time, it's not too reliable, the AI.
Yeah, totally. And AI, what people don't understand, especially new people into AI, is it's only as good as the input you give it.
Hmm.
Right. And so if you don't understand how to prompt it, because I actually ran into this situation myself. I was trying to write a program for fun, just as a side hobby type thing, and it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work. And it wasn't a matter of because the AI couldn't write the program. It's because I couldn't figure out how to tell the AI what I wanted or the results in which I was seeing in the work I had to do to get the program running. So remember, listeners out there, AI is a fantastic tool, but like any tool, it's only valuable if you know how to use it. And
Exactly right.
you only know how to use it if you practice prompting, if you practice with it. And just like somebody building a house, a framer gets better, making those walls better, straighter, truer, using the nail gun better, the more they use it. So just get out there and practice, but don't rely on it for
Absolutely.
at the end all be all results, especially in financial investments. I think that's a big
Mhm.
risk people would take if they went down
Yeah,
that path.
and I've
So
already seen a lot of people make those mistakes. The truth be told, someone that already has the experience and knowledge and knows how to ask the right questions can find maybe some solutions, but what you find most of the time is for example, me, I don't have the need to check in with ChatGPT to see what I should do because it's going to tell me the same things that I already know, right? So until AI can do something like that, which maybe I still would not even consider using it as a end all be all, like you said. It's very important to still be able to depend on yourself, especially in the only industry I would say that is forever going to be AI proof, and that is that of entrepreneurship. There's no one that can replace passion.
Absolutely. If you've ever opened your laptop ready to grow your business and 2 hours later closed it, realizing you've gotten nothing done, but you've researched office chairs, you've ordered lunch, and you've planned out the next 3 dinners, all the things that you wouldn't typically do to work on your business. Yeah, I've done that too. I'm Jason Pond. I'm the host of the Small Business Breakthrough Podcast, and I want you to achieve your breakthrough. But we do that through the community I built. I built the Momentum Community. The Momentum Community is a place where we meet every week. We talk about your goals, where you want to get with your business, and then we track them. And we use the Momentum dashboard to do that. We make sure you're moving forward every week, and it's accountability like you've never seen in a community forum. I want you to be part of that community. If you want to learn more about it, check out the link in the description below and enjoy the rest of the episode. And talking about that specifically, I want to know what your proudest moment has been since you decided to get into business and become an entrepreneur for yourself.
Well, man, another really good question, Jason. I love that. I would say my proudest moments, the moment where I kind of cracked the code, uh, was when I was able to quit my job at 20 to do what I do full time. And then, even though I didn't see success yet with my business helping others do the same, it was the first moment of true freedom that I tasted, right? And it came with a lot of obstacles, the perpetual question of how can I grow this business? How can I succeed? And a lot of trial and error. But at the very least, if I was going to shed blood, sweat, and tears, I was going to do it for myself, for my passion, for my dream, as opposed to a corporation or someone else's business or dream. So it was a first time in my life and the proudest moment in my life because I knew that for the rest of my life, I was going to bleed, sweat, and cry exclusively for my own passions.
Nice. So with that, what would you tell an entrepreneur out there that's wants to do it? They're struggling. They're right on the edge that they're like, oh man, I can't get this thing to work. What would you tell them to do?
Well, I would say one piece of advice that I always tell everyone because I saw it myself, just when I thought that my business was growing slow and okay and steady, but not good enough, I saw exponential growth and then I saw it again, right? You're always one decision away, one good, right decision away from cracking the code and seeing that exponential growth come in, right? So I would say stop working harder and start working smarter. If what you're doing isn't really giving you that explosive growth that you want, think of something else. Point blank, period. There is simply one way that's going to breed so many more results than others. I quadrupled my business in 1 month, and that was October of 2024. And then I quadrupled it again in January of 2025. That's that exponential growth that I'm talking about.
Nice. Excellent. Listeners out there. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, you're just struggling, you're ready to throw in the towel, give it another go, stop, reframe, ask the question, get some help if you need to. Reach out to another small business owner and say, hey, what would you do in this situation, and get a different set of eyes on your problem. So, Sebastian, it has been such a great conversation today. I want to wrap things up here as we jump into our lightning round. You ready to go?
Absolutely.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, 1000%.
If you could grab only one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
A sword.
Sword. There you go. I like it. How about a favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
This is one that I wrote myself, but I really like. I don't mean to sound arrogant by saying I wrote it myself, but there's no lack of beauty in life, only the lack of will to see it.
Wow. That is powerful. That is very powerful. How about a book that has influenced your life the most?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I have so many. Oh, I see that you have a bunch too. I'm a big reader. I'd gotta say I give them away so much, but probably Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or Letters from a Stoic from Seneca.
Okay,
One of those.
nice. Yeah, we haven't had much for the stoicism
I love it.
references on this. So that's great.
I love it.
Excellent. And the biggest obstacle that you've had to overcome and a lesson you've learned from it.
That's a good one. The biggest obstacle that I think all humans, including myself, perpetually have to overcome at some point is when you get rusty from being stagnant and comfortable. And there gets points where I get stagnant and comfortable. My business is growing, but not as much as it could be. And the main way that I have always overcome it is by making a violent move in some direction. I completely changed my marketing team. I completely changed something, and it always breeds better results. So I always keep myself in the habit of being able to move, move, move. Uh I never fall into what's the word? Routines. I always break that. I always break that. If I feel like I'm on autopilot, I hate it and I just break out of it.
Nice. Very nice. What is the best way that people could reach out to you if they want to learn more about you or your business?
Well, there's two ways. First and foremost, the way that I prefer people reach out to me, like I said, is just my phone number. I always give out my personal phone number. I've got no problem with that. And that would be 407-952-4871. Also, my website is always good, stocksuni.com, stocksuni.com.
Excellent. And we'll have that information in the show notes or the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Listeners out there, there's gold inside of this podcast of the passions, the values, the differences of what owning a small business can do for you and how you can build success in other ways than just your business. There may be other ways you can take some of those profits and invest, maybe reach out to Sebastian and get some more information. And for those of you listening that found this valuable and you want to hear some more episodes, check out the playlist located right here in the corner. And as always, until next time.